Hello.
Hiya.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to our sideshow of Let Loose. This is not Loose Links. This is from our YouTube page to up our YouTube channel as we talk all about Easter. So joining me, Nicholas Jones, on the panel for the next hour is Rachel Penny, Georgina Croshaw and Sam Hipwell as we talk about, do we have family traditions when it comes to Easter? Should we just let the Christians enjoy this holiday because it is a Christian tradition? Are we taking the mick when we celebrate it where we have no faith? Also, we talk about if you could tell the Easter story in 10 seconds to the next generation, what would you say? All that and a lot more on this week's show. Good evening, people. And before we get on to our Easter shenanigans, I've got to say, can you tell lockdown is now affecting me? It's getting utterly ridiculous that I can't do it. It just feels like a mop on my head now. I just can't do it. When they say, are you camera ready? I really am not camera ready anymore. How are you guys doing with all of that?
Well, I would have said that you looked all right before, but I can see what you mean. Take two. Yes, well, I've done my hair a few times.
Looks good.
Oh, have you?
Thank you. Yes, I have. Yes, I got the thinning scissors out and trimmed a bit and got very itchy. But yes, I did.
Oh, I think I'm on my way. When we can, Rachel, I think I'm on my way round to your house then, love.
You can. I can get my own back.
So let's start on our Easter show on Let Loose. So my first, so it's not really, it is topics, but it's more about our personal way of celebrating Easter this show that we're going to share with you. So sit back and enjoy. As our first question is, do you have any family traditions at Easter for you or your family?
Yeah, carry on, Sam.
Well, when I was little, we used to have a choice of Easter eggs in with a mug or something, or Kinder eggs, 6 Kinder eggs. So I used to go for the Kinder eggs. I still like Kinder eggs. I'm a big kid, really. But nowadays with my daughter, I don't tend to buy her chocolate at Easter because the rest of the family do it for her as well. Even though she's like 16 years old, the family still buy a load of chocolate for Easter. So I just buy something that, that's not edible, that she can actually like use, that she can keep. So,
some people go mad, don't they? I remember when I was younger, and only a year ago, when I was younger, and me and my sister was little, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying this on screen, her name Katie. One year, me and my sister had 14 Easter eggs each. We didn't get through them at all, but my mum made a point of, well, I'm going to get rid of these because boxes collect dust. So the 14 eggs did not last, and me and my sister did not get through 14 eggs. But I think sometimes it gets a bit ridiculous how much people buy chocolate-wise and stuff like that, don't you? Georgina, let's come to you.
Right, as children, we, as the 4 of us, we used to get 1 or 2 eggs each, but we used to do things like going out for walks, doing it as a family. And of course the obligatory roast lamb, which I've got to say I love.
I love lamb as well.
Rachel's face says about 1,000 words, doesn't it? She doesn't even have to say anything. Go on, Georgina, carry on.
Burner.
Right, but I feel that Easter has lost its meaning because of commercialism. They advertise Easter eggs on Boxing Day, and I don't. That doesn't rest well with me. But everybody to their own. Let's say besides going out for walks as a family, having a roast and a couple of Easter eggs, that's the only things different that we used to do.
Yeah. What about you, Rachel? Did you have roast lamb on Easter Day?
No, I don't. That little poor little lamb bouncing around in the fields. I do have fish on a Friday. I've always had fish on a Friday. When I used to work at Boots and in the high street, and they used to have a procession on a Good Friday, and it always made me feel quite sad. It had the whole day had an air of sorrow about it, and it always did have, and it does have now. And I don't know, but the only traditions we have now really is possibly me going out like a bit of a fruitcake in the morning on Easter Sunday and hiding a load of Easter eggs around the garden for the next door neighbours, three girls, and I put them little poems on the fence and rhymes, and they all go round. It's just I peek through the curtains in the morning just so I can watch them find them. But yeah, it's a nice weekend because it's a long weekend for people to have a bit of a break, a bit of a breather. But these traditions have to be passed down from generation to generation. If you haven't got a strong faith, then things get lost.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think the original meaning of Easter has gone? Do you think it's more about chocolate eggs?
I do think it's. I mean, it's like Christmas. Though the true meaning of Christmas is never. It's not there anymore. Because it's all everything's all commercialized, and it's all about making money on from these holidays, and I just think it's like, well, it's all right making money, but you've got to really let people know why we buy these things at Easter and Christmas and whatever. But people just don't. I just don't think people kind of take note of why we have Easter.
But do you think that, because I'm always one, as you know, to sit on the fence on these shows. Every show I try and think of all different angles, but we do talk about, and I do agree, it is commercialised. I didn't say that right, but it is a hell of a lot. Christmas, Easter, all of that. But the thing is, we can spend our lives blaming something. And I think we always do when it comes down to anything that we do in life. Well, it's this because there's too many adverts, there's too many this, there's too many that. And Mother's Day, it's gone over the top. It was from America, it's on TV. But the thing is, we spend our lives blaming. I feel we spend our lives blaming and pointing the finger. And the one thing that I was taught when I was very young is that when you point the finger at somebody, you've got three fingers pointing back at you. And I've always been taught that. I've always been taught when you point the finger, you've got three fingers pointing back at you. And the thing is with the Easter thing, have I got a panel sat in front of me that really are talking about, okay, it's commercialized, it's all of this, but actually, do you teach the true meaning of Easter? Do you talk about the true meaning of Easter? Do you spread the word? Do you talk about it? Or do we just sit on the fence moaning about advertising?
Well, when my daughter was growing up, and she's a teenager now, so when she was little, I used to we used to watch all these like kind of documentaries and that. And around Easter, there was a lot of documentaries. So I was like, oh, we'll sit down and we'll watch this and you'll know why we have Easter. Because she's always been an inquisitive child. She's always been wanting to know more. She's always wanted to learn more. She's always been wise beyond her years. So, she wanted to sit and watch and, so I made a point of, letting her know. And it's the same with Christmas. I mean, we have our own Christmas traditions and that. But she also knows the meaning of Christmas. I made sure of that because, I feel like, kids really need to know these things.
What about you, Rachel? Are you a person to talk about what Easter is all about and share and talk about that? Or do you feel like you've slipped into the road of just giving an Easter egg and that's that?
Well, the thing is, my children now are 31 and 22 20, oh no, 32 and 30, 32 and 30 this year, crikey. I know I don't look old enough.
Well, yeah. Well, carry
Yeah,
on,
don't answer that one. That's another show, isn't it?
I get told, oh, you don't look old enough to have a teenager. I'm like, seriously, have you seen the Greys?
Well, anyway, the thing is, they're old enough now to make their own decisions and their own, you know, choices. When they were growing up, they were christened. I was confirmed. I didn't get my children confirmed. That probably stopped that tradition going ahead, because I wanted them to make their own choices themselves, and I think it was a modern idea. And so they've always had the knowledge of where Christmas came from, where where Easter came from, and from Palm Sunday to Jesus on the third day, you know, and being seen. They do know all this. So they know the reasoning behind Easter, they know the reasoning behind Christmas, but everybody has to have a choice. You can't force a religion on anybody. But I'm not a practicing Christian, but I go to church when I feel the need for it. But that's probably sitting on the fence type of religion, I suppose. But I go at Christmas for a midnight mass.
Yes.
But the thing is, it's an excuse, I suppose. You'd always make time for church if you wanted to go, and it has too many memories for me. My grandmother and my mother both went every other Sunday to St Michael's in the village, and I can't go for some reason. But that's not just recently. That's something I wanted to do, but I just can't go. But I believe, I have a faith, but it's not a really strong one that I would make sure that that's what Easter meant completely. I like the bit of fun as well, the bit of chocolate and the bit of well, it's a family get together, and I think family is quite a big thing at the moment as well. And besides, we can't go to church this time, can we, at the moment? So
well, we can. Church
can we?
We can. But what do you think, Georgina? Do you think we've lost the original meaning of Easter?
I feel that we have, but I went to boarding school when I was 12 for 5 years, and it was a church school. So we'd have a church service every day, and we'd have two on Sunday. And I feel that was enforced. So after you leave school, it's not rebelling, but you just don't want to do it anymore. It'd be lovely if children did go to church on a Sunday. Like, I'm sorry, I'm showing my age, but they used to go to Sunday school. I'm ignorant. I don't know if they still have Sunday school.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. Still happens.
I think some places do.
But if that was made more use of, I feel that traditions wouldn't disappear.
The thing is, I think everybody's, if we're talking more on the faith line, and we will be coming on to this a little bit later as well. If we're talking on the faith line, I think, to me, faith's a bit like a mountain, and everybody, I'm very savage in the show today. I really am. Everybody climbs the mountain in a very, very different way. Everybody climbs the mountain, and that's called the mountain of faith. So everybody walks the mountain a very, very different way, but there's only one top to this mountain. So it doesn't matter if you believe and you don't go to church. I am a church person. I hate the word church goer. I really do. I just don't like that saying at all. And my church life has been a bit of a miracle, really. I lost my grandma in 2004. and it was like losing my left hand when I lost her. She was the one person that really made me feel like family. And it's really weird how she died. She I don't know if you guys have ever watched it, but there was a TV program years ago called Touched by an Angel.
Yeah.
And it was a story, and she literally watched that TV program and went to bed. So that was just wow to me. And originally I started going to church because I wanted to support a friend who had lost somebody, and I never looked back really. I do call myself a born again Christian, because I don't know, it's not like I come from a family tradition of going to church on a Sunday morning and going through Sunday school and all of that. I found my faith on my own, and none of my family go to church. It's just me. But it really annoys me when people say to me, "Oh, you go to church because you think you're better than all of us, and you think this, that, and the other." No, I go to church because I realise I need the grace of God in my life to survive, to keep going. So I really hate it when people go, "Oh, you go to church because you think you've got a ticket into heaven." No, I still might not make it to heaven. I could go to church Sunday by Sunday and still not make it to heaven. So, but it's really controversial, isn't it? It's really. So, tell me what you did. Let's go to you, Georgina, first. Tell me what you did as a child on Easter Day.
Well, it's a long time ago, but as a way of having holidays, my parents had a big 6-berth caravan, and on things like Easter, Whitsuntide, we'd go and join all our friends at a caravan rally, and we used to really enjoy that. The chocolate bit, we had a family friend who worked for Mars, so if we parked up nearby, he'd get his boot open and he'd give us loads and loads of Mars bars. Well, yes. So really, that was my true Easter. But to the present, I go to church. I should be going to Bingham Spiritual Church tomorrow. We're opening up again. But all through the lockdown, I've done church every Sunday on Zoom. And it's part of my life. Mind you, I think I'll have to admit that I started after Chris died, and I thought I might get closer to her. In some respects I have, but I just enjoy it. It's part of me now.
Definitely. What about you, Rachel? What was your Easter like as a child?
They were just filled with family, and we used to all have a big dinner, big roast dinner, not the lamb that everybody has. I couldn't bear the thought of lamb. We used to have like a roast chicken, but we used to have Easter eggs and what have you. But it was time for family. Family used to come out the woodwork and all come see us.
Yeah.
And so we used to have a big meal, and it was just a get together, which is just as important, I think, as any faith as well, because family is a big thing.
What about you, Sam? What did you do as a child at Easter?
Well, not much different from any other Sunday. We'd have our roast dinner, and we'd have our Easter eggs. And then later on the Sunday, our nan and granddad would come over. They used to come over to see us every Sunday. And I was a bit of a granddad's girl. I used to go and sit on his knee all the time. I used to love my granddad a bit, when I was like little. And so it was just basically a normal Sunday for us. But as I've gotten older, and then obviously I had Alicia, I started going to Lincoln Spiritual service, because I class myself as a spiritualist. And we, when it came to like Easter and all that kind of thing, they'd have, the special things going on. And my daughter would sit with me and she would listen to what was being said. She's like 5, 6 years old, and she'd sit there and she'd watch the people on the podium and just listen to what they said. And I feel like some of that, she's kind of like kept in her mind subconsciously, because she still remembers it all.
Yeah, definitely. So do you consider Easter now as an adult? Do you consider Easter as an important holiday, or do you just consider Easter as time off work? Rachel, let's go to you.
We should keep it as a tradition. It's been a tradition. Just because we've let it go, let it slip, it doesn't mean to say that. Well, I don't know how to put it into words. Although I don't practice my faith. It's a personal, quiet faith. I'm not really the happy clappy, church goer, as you don't like saying the word goer. But I do believe it's a British tradition, and I know we have lots of different cultures now in this country, and but we have to hold on to ours as well. Everyone has a right to their own belief and their own way of expressing their belief and their faith. But it is an important tradition, and I think we should keep it going, definitely.
I remember though, because as I say, I've been a Christian now, I would say, more in my life than more not in my life. I think I can't work out the maths, but I entered the church in 2004 and haven't looked back. And I remember I'm now a shift worker, so the bank holidays, weekends and stuff like that go out the window for me, because obviously people still need looking after. So we don't have that traditional 4-day weekend and stuff like that. But I do remember being in a 9-to-5 job and people going, "Oh, I can't wait for this long weekend," and stuff like that. But you can't wait to relax. And I used to say, well, to me, I don't relax. It's the one of the biggest times in the Christian calendar, really, is Easter, and I love it, and it's what I believe, and I go forward and I do it. But it's just as tiring as being at work. Easter week is nearly every night in church, is the night before church. There's called an Easter Vigil, which happens at the cathedral. Then you do Easter morning in the church. It's a big, huge time. So, but I do get how some people might just see it as a bit of time off work if they don't have a faith or don't believe. What do you think, Georgina?
I feel much the same as you do. I'm going to say that a lot of people just class it as first holiday in the new year, which is a shame. You see them piling over to the coast. But yes, I believe in Christianity. Say go to church every Sunday. All right, maybe spiritual, but it still amounts to the same thing. And I don't want to lose the traditions. I really don't.
No. And a lot of people feel like that as well. A lot of people will feel like that, but also a lot of people will feel like it's just time off work, and that's okay. Whatever. Can I just say, I am a Christian, but I don't stand by that you've got to go. I do, because it's my choice to. But you can believe and not go to church. I really want to say that. I know friends that maybe only once a month go to church, but still believe, but don't have the necessity to go every Sunday. So, do you think it is wrong to associate religious holidays with other types of things, like Easter and the Easter Bunny?
No, the Easter Bunny has a has a meaning as well, doesn't it? In pagan times, you know, new life, and it's similar to the egg, isn't it? It's I can remember something. I don't know exactly what it means, because I don't really associate the bunny and the egg with the faith. Do you know? I do want to just, if I can just say, I'm talking to you now. It's made me think to myself that I've probably got more of a faith than I think, because I've been brought up like that. I've been brought up to have this inside me. When I have a sadness on Good Friday, and then the weekend becomes hopeful for spring and new life, and that is instilled in me. And thinking about it now, talking to everybody, yeah, the egg part, the chocolate part, is a little bit daft. But if it's a way of teaching children through that kind of thing, and why we have Easter, but this is another little, you know, treat, and the meaning behind the egg, look it up, look at the meaning of having an egg, the rabbit, because I think it was it sounded like Easter, Ooster, the rabbit in I don't know, Danish, I'm not too sure, but something like that. I'll have to look it up. But it's something that reminds it. So that's a way of teaching your children. Then go for it. You know, it's.
Do you think we would celebrate it, or even not celebrate it though, if the chocolate egg was taken away? If the chocolate egg was never introduced, and all we had was the Easter story and people going to church and maybe family getting together for a dinner, but there was no Easter gift that you got, and that was all taken out of the window, do you think we would still celebrate Easter and everybody still celebrate?
I think there'll probably be a small amount that would do it, but I don't think it would be as popular. I mean, just when you was talking, I was just thinking about all the holidays in the year. I mean, you got like Valentine's Day, you give gifts on Valentine's Day. Mother's Day, you give gifts on Mother's Day. Christmas, you get gifts at Christmas. And I think, you know, if you take away giving the gifts on all these holidays, I don't think people would celebrate them as much, to be fair.
Yeah. Georgina, do you agree? Do you think if we didn't have the chocolate egg, Easter would be very, very different?
It would, without doubt. Really, I'm all for people going to church, but it brings me on to we used to take we had a young daughter, Vicky. We used to take her to church on a Sunday. People were great inside church, but we came across too many people that talked to you in the church but didn't want to know outside.
Yeah, there is that as well, definitely.
But besides that, yes, I think we ought to go to church, and yes, I feel that if there wasn't the Easter eggs and commercialism, I think a lot more people might go.
Yeah,
it's like we go at Christmas time. I wouldn't dream of missing midnight mass on Christmas Eve.
It's weird when people say that, isn't it? It's like what you've just said, Rachel, about you wouldn't, and maybe you can enlighten me a little bit, because I think because going to church for me is just normal everyday life. It's just something that I do because it's what I believe I'm here for. But a lot of people don't go to church throughout the year, but absolutely feel the need that they've got to walk into a church building for midnight mass. They've got to walk into a church building for Easter morning. Why is that? Why can people be so blasé of not walking through a church door when it comes to a normal everyday Sunday, but absolutely feel the need to be there at midnight mass?
Well, it's like having a birthday. It's just like having a birthday. You don't celebrate your birthday every day of the year. When it comes to your birthday, you do. so it's the poignant moments in the Christian calendar, isn't it? It's the definite moments that you want to celebrate, and there are a few people that want to just go in after rolling into just to get the festive spirit, but there are a lot of people who are also have been brought up with the faith, lost it, and don't really know how to go about it again. And going into church shouldn't be something you're nervous about, but there is a lot of there's what's the word, not do's and don'ts, but there is a set way of going into a church and what actually happens, and whether you go up for communion and whether you don't, and people get a little bit nervous about that, and you know, they shouldn't do. It's like anything, if you're not brought up with it, you're not comfortable with it, and so, you know.
Going off topic a little bit, so we'll go on based on the line that Christians believe that Easter Day is one of their favourite days of the year because it's new life, new starts, sins have been forgiven.
You see, for me, Easter for me represents the start of spring, because my favourite season is the spring. I do love it in the springtime. See all the new life, and got daffodils growing in the garden, birds fluttering around, and I absolutely love that. So for me, Easter is about spring and new life. That's how I see it myself. But I mean, I passed that on to my daughter, because my daughter's the same. She's like, you know, she loves it. She loves the spring. She prefers the spring as well, and she loves the fact that, you know, it's all new life and everything else. And I think I kind of like rubbed off onto her with that.
Yeah, definitely. But with the new life and the new start and the spring, if we take religion out of the equation a minute, and I asked you here, what up to your life today, what has been the best day of your life so far? Let's come to you first, Rachel. What has been the best day of your life so far?
I can't give you one. I've had no end.
I thought you were gonna go, I've got no best day. It's just normal. It's just
no, I've got no end of best days. Being alive for me is good. No, there's just so many. If you haven't had anything traumatic happen to you, you probably can't think of anything to say. But every single day, I appreciate family, friends, and friends are fantastic. And I just feel lucky. I feel lucky to have the life that I've got. So I can't possibly say one particular, because I've got two children. How can you say that one of those being born was better than the other? I need them to keep coming around to see me. Yes, I've got that pen on that will. But you know, you can't say every day when you wake up.
What about you, Georgina? Have you got a best day of your life so far?
Well, every day of my life, whilst Chris was around, although she did get put very poorly towards the end, and I suppose that the best day was the day we got married. That was back in '76, a long time ago, but I still cherish it. And yeah, I think it's, well, really, I cherish every day, even though I'm on my own. All right, some days are a bit bleak, but most of the time, it's good. I've made a lot of new friends, especially in the spiritual world. and yes, I have some really good times.
What about you, Sam? Do you think you've got a best day of the year of your life so far?
I don't know, I have quite a few, you know, from like different situations I found myself in, you know. I mean, I could say the birth of my daughter, you know, I could easily say that, and, you know, that was a really special day. Because it didn't feel like it at the time, because I was 53 hours in labor with her. So yeah, it was a long weekend. So yeah, you know, it was
That's
that's kind of memorable.
A completely different light.
Yeah, 53 hours is not good.
I would say that I would say I had an epiphany. I say this to all my friends. I had an epiphany at the age of 30. So for 3 decades, I really struggled in life, and I've always been given this scenario of a bus, and sat on a bus, and you can either look outside one side of the window, and disaster and war and hatred and relationship breakdowns and heartbreak and all of that are happening on that side of the bus, and you're sat on the bus, or you could look on the other side of the bus where there's sunshine, there's rabbits, there's days out, there's memories with friends, there's this, that, and the other. And I feel I was very focused on this side. I was very focused on my past. Why did this happen to me? How could I change it? This, that, and the other. And at 30, I had a bit of an epiphany. I went through a really traumatic heartbreak. I really did. And I realised that I found independent Nick at the age of 30. And what I realised was that I was looking at my life for nearly 30 years, really, through somebody else's eyes. I wasn't looking at my life through my own eyes and what I wanted out of life. I was always put on the shelf. And then there was just one day where I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to live for me. And if someone comes into my life for that reason, and I remember being on a date just before lockdown. So I went on a date with somebody, and we were talking, and we met in this coffee shop, and we were talking, and this, that, and the other. And, or should we do date number 2? Yeah, let's do date number 2. And I got home and I got a text off him saying, thank you for the date. And I thought, oh no, it was lovely, can't wait to see you again. And he said, I don't think that's going to happen because you're a little bit too independent for me. And I was just a bit like, how can you possibly be too independent? So obviously he wanted somebody that he wanted to cradle and look after, and I'm just not that sort of guy. So I think the turning point for me was when I was 30, and doing this 10 years ago, I'd never had the confidence to do anything like this. So 30 was my turning point. So what is out of all the holidays, people, what is your favourite holiday of the year? Let's go to you first, Rachel. What's your favourite holiday of the year?
Oh, I think Christmas. I love Christmas. I like the build up to it. I like family getting together. But I think I've probably told you before that last year, that was completely the opposite. I was eating Angel Delight in the kitchen on my own.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, a bit of a sad Christmas that was. But there was reasons for that, not because nobody liked me or nobody wanted to be with me. And I do like Angel Delight, actually.
Angel Delight for you all. Merry Christmas.
I do like Angel Delight. I cooked 2 bowls, actually, so I splashed out.
Wow.
But
Christmas.
no, I do like Christmas. I like Christmas.
What about you, Georgina? What's your favourite holiday of the year?
Nowadays, I haven't got one.
Not got one.
No. They're just, to be totally honest, they're just another day to me at the present time. All right, I used to love Christmas. But what do you do if you're on your own? last Christmas, I even put out in our, we have a local neighbours site, and I even put on there, anybody on their own would like to have Christmas lunch.
Do you mean not last Christmas, the Christmas before? Because the last Christmas we isolated with 5 people.
Well, no, last Christmas. I say it's, to me, it wasn't breaking the rules. I wanted to do some good.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I'd known about that, Georgina. I'd have given you a bowl of Angel Delight.
Oh,
Keep in touch this year. What about you, Sam? Have you got a favourite holiday of the year?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I absolutely love Halloween.
Oh,
I love Halloween. I do.
That's
I get all the decks. I get all the decks out and put them all out in the garden for the trick or treaters and everything. I love it. And then I put on this mask and I answer the door with this gruesome mask on and scare the little kids when they get. There was one year there's a little kid dressed in a skeleton, and I opened the door with this mask on, and he was like, oh!
You and Vicky Pearson will get on like crazy.
Yeah, and you've got a black cat.
I've known Vicky Pearson for many years, so we do get along, me and Vicky.
Would you like a witch's broom?
Oh, I would love a witch's broom.
Right, I've got one that made it for last Halloween.
Wow.
But
I'll probably try doing a Harry Potter thing and go up.
Exactly. What now? We're on to our final 2 questions panel. So have a really good think about this. What pieces of advice would you pass on to the next generation as they establish their own Easter traditions? Hard question.
That's a hard question.
It's a hard question.
What would you say to keep going? What would you like to think Easter would be like when we're no longer around?
I hope my family keeps family close, because lonely when you're on your own, it's very, very lonely, and you've always got to. My mum always wanted my brother and myself to be close, and we are, and that was the best thing she could have seen before she passed away, was to see my brother and I looking after her. And we camped out in her bedroom and made sure for 3 days, made sure that every time she opened her eyes, she'd see us both. And she did. And family was everything to her. So I think family, if you've got a family that love each other, keep it going, because
very good piece of advice.
Yeah,
very good. What about you, Georgina? What would your tradition that you would like to keep going?
I'd just like to peace, love. I think love is the most important part of it. Be friends, have no family, don't argue over anything, and be close.
Georgina. What about you, Sam? What would you like to see when you're no longer here? That still happens.
Well, we won't be able to say it if we're no longer here, will we?
Yeah, well, we had a legacy of leaving something. What would you do?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think just what the other two said. Having like friends and family. I mean, I lost one of my friends back in February, at the end of February. She was like a week younger than me, and I was just, like, I started questioning my mortality and everything. So me and my friends, we got together, got our heads together, and was like, you know what, we need to start living life, to the full. You don't know what's going to be around the next corner, so keep your friends and family close.
Yeah,
because you don't know what's going to happen around the corner.
And our final question, and I'm literally giving you a countdown for this, so get ready. If you had to tell the Easter story in just 10 seconds, what would you say? So I'll give you a minute. I'll give you about 30 seconds to have a think about that.
I'm going to be longer.
Join us on this Tuesday evening for our latest episode of Loose Links, where we have a panel of 4 discussing topics and advice all around your area. So join us this Tuesday as the panel of 4 have a lot to say. Don't miss out. So, Rachel Penny.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. Jesus.
Ready?
Yes.
10.
Jesus was crucified on Good Friday on the cross. He died. 3 days later, he rose, and he died to keep us alive. Is that right?
Well done. Well
Just
done.
to that. Just to that.
Right, Georgina, your 10 seconds. Are you ready? Go.
How do you follow that for starters? It's the same story, but I see it as Lent, the lead up to Easter. I see Jesus being crucified. I see him rising again.
That's 10 seconds. Watch the 10 seconds. Sam, are you ready?
Ditto, Sam.
No, I'm not.
Go.
Jesus, I would say that Jesus died for our sins, and he rose. I don't know. I have no idea.
And my 10 seconds. So, new life, crucifixion, sins forgiven. Make sure that we follow in our best way. Love, protect. Make sure that you look out for the people that most need it, and it's okay not to be okay. That's my...
Well done.
Hell of a lot better than what I say. To move. Hell of a lot. So I've got my cat trying to rub up against my tablet at the moment. You will not leave me alone.
That's the end of Let Loose. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. Join us next month where there'll be a different show altogether. It won't be a panel of 4, it might be something different. But can you thank my panel this evening? Joining me, Nicholas Jones, was the very smiley Rachel Penny. was the woman that never knows what's going to come out of her mouth, was Georgina Crenshaw. And Sam, with that Harry Potter look, Sam hit make sure you join us on Tuesday night for the next episode and the latest instalment of Loose Links. Thank you for joining us on Let Loose. On this show, we'll see you next month. Take care. Goodbye. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.